a fantastic feature for analyzing data with a twist. With conditional formatting, we're going to look at the rules you can apply to help you spot trends and interpret data. We will cover another star of the show, templates. Often overlooked, but very versatile and functional, and they really look good too. We'll explore Excel's library of templates, as well as taking a stab at creating your very own, which will come in handy in Lesson 10, where you're going to be creating your own personal budget template that you can use straight away. And last but certainly not least, we will look at some more printing options to get the best out of your workbooks. As a quick recap of Lesson 8, we focused a lot on how to clean data and finalize data using trim and clean functions. We discussed a few shortcuts to find and replace and select special cells with Ctrl F, G, and H. A few more ways in which to convert our text to numbers, ensure the consistency of our text formatting with the lower, upper, and proper functions, and who can forget BODMAS, the order for evaluating expressions to ensure the accuracy of our data. We also had a brief encounter with conditional formatting to help you highlight duplicates, and ended off with a brief introduction to printing, which we will look at more in this lesson. So in this lesson, we're going into more depth to look at what it is, why we use it, and when we use it. Conditional formatting is valuable to use within large data sets to identify trends and glean information through the use of formatting. If you need to identify specific information within a cell, range of cells, or table, you can do so by selecting a condition such as values greater than 5,000, or as we saw in the previous lesson, highlighting duplicate records. The name conditional formatting gives you a clue as to its function. Once the stipulated condition is met, the relevant cell or range of cells will be formatted using colors and other predefined options to choose from. So why would we use conditional formatting? Well, as I mentioned, it can be used to draw attention to specific information, as to records with negative values, or the bottom 10 products bringing in the least amount of revenue. Conditional formatting is great, as you can create your own rules, saving you time from having to filter and sort, or using other features that require a bit more effort. And by far the greatest bonus is the ability to apply multiple rules to the same cells or range. Custom and multiple rules are just some of the fantastic topics you can look forward to in Module 2. Conditional formatting works using the if-then logic. This logic has been built into a few preset conditions available, such as highlighting cells, the top and bottom values in a range, adding in data bars, color scales, and even icon sets. So what this means is once you select a condition such as highlight cells where the value is greater than 10, if that condition is met, then change the color of that cell or range. Easy? Let's have a look. This is a table reflecting the sales figures for various products in different regions. Let's try to analyze this data using conditional formatting. Before applying your formatting, you need to highlight the column where you will be applying this rule. So I will highlight the date column, and in our Home tab, in the Styles group, we can select conditional formatting, and the first option is the highlight cells rules. Here you have various pre-designed conditions such as greater than, less than, between, and others. We want to look at the sales that occurred in this month. So using a date occurring, in the dialog box, we can specify which dates we want to format. I will select this month, and you can change the formatting depending on your needs. I will select the red one for now and hit OK. Based on the current date, Excel will then highlight the dates that are occurring in the current month. If we apply the same rule to sales that occurred in the previous month, we can change the formatting, and again, based on the current date, Excel will highlight the dates that occurred last month. And here you can see that you can apply multiple rules to the same range of data. Let's practice with another example. By highlighting the products, I would like to identify the sales relating to grain. So I can select the text that contains and specify I'm looking for grain. I'll change the format, and immediately I can spot the grain that was sold last month, the grain that was sold this month, and the grain sold during the other months in the year. The last example is we can look at the sales figures. And here we're going to highlight the products that brought in revenue less than $500. Immediately you can spot in Finland, dairy is not doing so great. If we add to this rule and identify products that are bringing in revenue greater than $2,500, again you can see the dairy in Italy and the produce in Italy seems to be a better bet. In our next example, we can look at some data relating to a book tour. See, even authors can make use of Excel. This author traveled to all the cities listed in column B, and you can see the fees earned from this tour in column C, the number of people that attended each book tour in column D, and the number of books sold in column E. In this example, we're going to look at the top and bottom rules. Again, by highlighting the data and selecting top or bottom rules in conditional formatting, I'm going to look at the top 20%. The top 20% of the cities that brought in the most revenue have been highlighted. For the next set of data, I want to look at where there was above average attendance. And isn't it interesting to note that it doesn't correlate to where the most fees were generated? And in the last column, let's look at the bottom 10 selling books. Clearly, these citizens are perhaps not big readers, or they have Kindles. Now I will demonstrate how we can use conditional formatting to spot trends. We have the months of a financial year of a company with the profits generated in each month. It can be informative to show the increase or decrease in profits per month with just the simple formula we've added in column D. But what is even more useful is to perhaps include conditional formatting. So highlighting the column, we're going to select an icon to identify the good months, the bad months, and the months to watch, or where you may want to do some more investigation to understand the numbers. You can use arrows, traffic lights, but I'm going to select the indicators. Again, immediately you can spot the good months, as well as the months where we did not do so well, and the months that require a bit more investigation. Let's go back to the first product's data we looked at the start of the demonstration. I've removed the subtotals to convert the information into a table format. A tip is to always shape your data with the end in mind. Source data should always be captured into a database format where it can be easily converted into a table. Then, in a table format, it is far easier to create charts and graphs and to analyze the data in other ways. This layout is better suited as a final output or report to present at a meeting, but I would still rather make a copy of the source data in this format and then add in outlines. But moving on, let's look at the data bars and color scales. By highlighting the sales figures, we can insert the color scales. This helps us to identify which products are making the most sales versus the least sales, ordering the colors from darkest to lightest. Like charts, data bars are dynamic. So if we update the data in the chart, the conditional formatting updates automatically as well. This is a really fun table showing the results of a survey where 20 people were asked to vote whether they found the movie excellent, very good, good, fair, or poor. Using a weighted average, an overall score was then calculated to assess whether the movie is worth staying indoors on a Friday night. Just looking at the numbers can be overwhelming, but if we add in some icons, by highlighting the data and selecting icons, at a glance, we can see the award goes to Titanic and Ghostbusters. Definitely my favorites. And for our last example, and a really cool one, let's create a heat map with the temperatures in a particular area for the year over a period of years. Let's use color scales by highlighting the area and inserting the red, yellow, and green color scale. This shows us the hottest months and the coolest months of the year. So it seems June, July, and August are the months you want to aim for swimsuit bodies. Can you see how much joy you can have with conditional formatting? And it's really appealing to the eye as well. So here's a quick check on your understanding of this fun feature. How can you highlight cells comprising specific words? In a long list of student grades, if I want to identify all the cells containing the word pass in green, I could use equals to, text that contains, icon sets, or create a custom rule. This is a quick way to identify which students have passed, and in order to do so, I will select option B. Let's pass on to the next topic, templates. Have you ever been to the doctor's office? Do you dread filling in new patient forms? Don't worry, me too, as I really wish they would ask us to do it in Excel. But nevertheless, that form is a template, and it is the starting point for providing the receptionist with the necessary details to create your file on the system and load you as a patient. It is pre-formatted with perhaps the doctor's logo and details of the practice on the form, as well as all the fields where you need to write your details. This guides you in terms of what information is needed so that you don't forget to fill in your name. This is the purpose of templates. Can you imagine the chaos if every new patient that came in had free rein to produce their own forms with the information they deem fit for the doctor's knowledge? So need I say more on the why? They are far more efficient to use and ensures the consistency of not only the look of your spreadsheet, but also the contents. This upholds the quality standards required and is far more user-friendly as it provides guidance in terms of what information should be included in the template. The benefit of an Excel template is that it cannot be overwritten. When you save the template, the extension changes to a .xltx, which makes it impossible to save over it, and I'll show you this in a moment. First, just so you're aware of your options, there are standard pre-designed templates available for you to download in Excel and on the internet using the Microsoft Office website. You can search from thousands of templates, as there is sure to be one to suit every requirement. If you really do not find what you need, you can download a template and customize it. But it's far more fun to just create your own. Before we dive into the practical, a new feature but a not so new function is the comments and notes. While notes are new, the concept is not, and we will discuss this shortly. But for both comments and notes, you can add, delete, and manage them in Excel to use as reminders, annotations, and for conversing with your colleagues or other people you are collaborating with in the workbook. So notes were previously called comments. You can use them to document your thoughts, to serve as a reminder, or just for fun. Something handy is you can convert your notes to comments at the end of completing a spreadsheet so that you can send it to the next in line for review. Do beware, if you select to convert, that it will change all your notes into comments at once. For transparency and audit trails, you can print your notes. With comments, you can have threaded conversations by using the reply box. In order for this feature to work, you need to have a shared space such as OneDrive or SharePoint to enable collaboration within the workbook. This is perfect for the review process as you have the ability to delete comments or mark them as resolved and keep them as a history to revert back to at any stage. And like with notes, you can also print your comments. So let's have a quick look at the templates. You should be fairly familiar with the Backstage. In the Backstage, you can go to New, and you'll have two tabs, Office, which contains all the pre-designed templates ready to be downloaded, or a Personal tab for templates that you've created yourself. In the Office tab, you can search for online templates using the search bar, or you can browse the various categories to narrow your search. If you find a template you like, you can also pin this template to the top of the list. If we browse within a category, you will see there are a wide variety of different options for you to download. If you're doing Abby's meal planning course, there's even a simple meal planner to download to supplement your work in that area. So to create a template, let's take a simple budget and click Create. Immediately, all your worksheets necessary have been populated and will include the necessary links and formulas where relevant. Templates are great as they have instructions to help you complete the template. And if you're still not happy, you can further customize the template to suit your needs. If you're really stuck and do not find what you need in the Backstage, you can download templates from the Microsoft website, and I will provide you with the link in your summary notes. Now let's take a look at creating your very own template. I'm going to create a budget versus actual. And I will format this using the cell styles. I'm going to include a column for budget and a column for actual. Again, using the cell styles, I can quickly format the headings. I will add in the months and using autofill, complete the months to December, and just include a difference column where we can insert a formula. Again, using autofill, we can drag the formula down, and I'll insert some borders. Using AutoSum, include totals, and don't forget to format your numbers. Let's resize the columns and make a few more minor tweaks to make it look professional. Let's add in some conditional formatting to highlight the bottom 10 items with a light red fill. And don't forget to rename your worksheet. The next step is to save our template. So we can hit Save As and Browse. It doesn't really matter which folder you select, as when you select the file type template, which is the .xltx, A folder is automatically created in My Documents called Custom Office Templates. Your template will be saved here. And hit Save. Let's close. To reopen your template, select the Backstage and New. In your Personal tab, let's open the budget template we've just created and begin to enter some dummy data. And you can see our formulas are working beautifully, as well as the conditional formatting. We've also saved an extensive amount of time with formatting the key data up front and inserting all our formulas. In order to save our template, when you hit Save, it immediately renames your template to Template 1 and converts your file to a .xlsx. If you choose to save this file, so when you open your template again, you can begin to enter the information for the new year, and all your formatting has been maintained. Did you enjoy the practical? Can you appreciate the benefits of templates? If so, Lesson 10 is definitely not to be missed. This is where we can bring all the skills and tools learned during the past 9 lessons and combine them into a really fun mini project. The core of the lesson is also to uncover the ways in which you can find the help you need with any feature in Excel. And we look for ways to customize Excel to really make it your own. But now, back to the practical. And the fun is not over yet. Let's quickly run through the comments and notes features. In the Review tab, there is a Comments and a Notes group. Let's add a comment. You can select the New Comment command, or alternatively, you can right-click in a cell and insert a new comment. Enter your comment and hit the green arrow to post. It is then possible to edit the comment if needed. The comments are great as it shows the name of the person raising the comment as well as the cell to which the comment is related. And you can show all your comments, which calls up the task pane. Here it might be easier for the reviewer or collaborator to respond by typing in the reply box. And when finalizing the report, you can delete your comment or resolve them to keep them within the workbook as an audit trail. Notes can be inserted from the ribbon as well. Again, you can also right-click in a cell and insert a new note. Here you can see the difference as it looks like a sticky note and there is no reply box. You can also show all your notes or hide them. And if you need to convert all of them into comments, you will receive a warning to ensure you want to convert all your notes, and they will be added to the task pane. You can then also print your notes and comments, but I will show you this in the options and settings exist when it comes to printing in Excel. Let's explore those now. Firstly, it is important to understand the different views you can choose from. When you open Excel, you will see what is known as the normal view. This is the default setting. We will look at changing this in Lesson 10. The page break preview shows you what data will appear on each page and where the page breaks are. You can manually adjust the page breaks as well. The last option is the page layout, which is suitable for designing documents such as financial statements, as this is where you can see the headers and footers and view the spreadsheets page by page. You can also find the workbook views in the status bar. Before selecting the page break preview layout, you can stipulate the area you want to print within a worksheet by highlighting and setting the print area. You can also clear this if needed or add to the print area. Once selected, the page break preview will help you to double check you've selected the correct range. This is one of my favorite features. the ability to repeat specific rows and columns in a spreadsheet. If you have a really long table that you need to print over multiple pages, adding a row with the heading in and amongst your data will not be very practical. You can select the rows and columns you would like to print at the top of each page, and Excel is more than happy to oblige. A page break is a forced split in your data to ensure the information below the break prints onto a new page. These page breaks are easier to see and manage in the page break preview layout. I've mentioned headers and footers already, but I did not mention where to find them. If you navigate using the Insert tab, you can find headers and footers in the text group. If you are in the normal view, selecting this will automatically convert the page layout view, where you can then edit your headers and footers with ease. You can select pre-designed headers and footers, including page numbers, the date and time, specific naming conventions, but of course if these don't meet your needs, you know by now that Excel will give you the option to create custom ones. Your one-stop shop for all your print settings can be found in the Page Layout tab and in the Page Setup group. These are all the settings we've discussed so far, as well as the settings available in the Scale to Fit group, where you can quickly fit all your data onto a single page. There is another group called Sheet Options, where you can toggle grid lines and headings. You can turn the visibility of these on and off and select whether to include them when printing. Let's see this in action. As I mentioned, you can access your workbook views in the status bar. The default one selected is Normal. You then have Page Layout and Page Break Preview. We can also access all of these settings in the Page Layout tab in the Page Setup group. Another handy trick is the Zoom tool, so you can zoom in and out of your worksheet to see your data better. Let's have a look at the different workbook views. In Page Layout, you can see the pages of the spreadsheet, as well as the footers and the headers. To add a header, you can click, and the Header and Footer Contextual tab becomes available. You can then proceed to insert the various headers. To add a footer, scroll to the bottom of the page and click in the footer box. You can click in the middle, in the left, or the right. Again, the Contextual tab becomes available, and you can add any of the settings you require. In the Page Break Preview, immediately we can see that the data is not going to actually fit on one page. Here we can manually adjust the breaks to ensure that our table will fit onto one page. It also gives you the page number. Back in the normal view, if we want to exclude this row and this column from the print area, we can highlight the data we want to include and select Print Area. In the Page Break Preview, that row and first column has been grayed out. Next, we can insert a page break, and in the Page Break Preview, you will see that it has been inserted. And again, you can manually adjust it as needed. This table will now be printed over 2 pages, and ideally we would like to include the first 2 rows as a heading on page 2. So we can do that with Print Titles, and in the Page Setup dialog box where it says Print Titles, Rows to Repeat at the top, we can highlight those 2 rows and select OK. If we have a look at the print preview, the heading has been correctly included on page 2 as well. With respect to printing your comments and notes, again in the Print Titles, you can select Comments and Notes and choose to print them at the end of the sheet or as displayed on the sheet, the notes only. and select OK. The last example I want to cover is if you want to print a specific selection within your data. If I just wanted to print the first 3 years, you can highlight the area you want to print, and in the print preview, under the settings, select Print Selection. And the number of pages has reduced from 2 to 1. And just like that, it's trivia time again. Fortunately, we're still on the topic of printing, so true or false. You can repeat headings on the top of each printed page using print titles. There is the option to manually insert rows within your data and copy the heading to be repeated. And you can even do this accurately in the page break preview layout. But your spreadsheet is not going to look very good. You're going to compromise your data, and it's not a very good use of your time. So fortunately for you, the statement is true. And in a nutshell, conditional formatting is the way to go for formatting cells or ranges that meet specific criteria to help you highlight key information. Templates are an efficient way in which to ensure consistent, complete data in a quick and easy manner, as they cannot be overwritten, and the structure is maintained so you get the same quality every time. Lastly, we learned there are many options linked to printing, including the ability to add headers and footers, and even repeat certain rows and columns as headings if needed.